Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nordic Championship 2019 summer season and now round 3, brought to you from the Monster Energy DreamHack studio. We're well into the season now, we're all warmed up, and the teams are starting to establish themselves a little in the standings. Joining me today on the cast desk is Troubling's familiar face. How are you doing tonight, Trouble?
Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing great. Thank you for having me for yet another series of best of threes. And let's have a little bit of a look on the standings because, like you said, some teams are starting to form on the standings. So, first of all, as we can see on the graph, there is sort of a pattern being formed here where the Danish team seem to be doing extremely well so far in the tournament and they're claiming the top two spots together with Falcon from Sweden. On the other hand, though, we have the Norwegian teams who are struggling to chain two games together for a win, and they find themselves at the bottom of the standings. Now, saying that, I was very vocal about Nordavind. I really liked the way they had their plan and the draft. I felt like they were just lacking severely in the execution, but we'll have to wait and see if they can actually, redeem themselves. But skipping and hopping and jumping away from the Norwegian teams at the bottom, as we're not going to be covering any of their games today, of course, let's have a look at the schedule for tonight.
And the schedule for tonight is indeed Dusty versus Neon Esports. That's the Icelandic second seed going up against Finland's number 2 for the first match of the evening. Following that, we have Final Tribe versus MJ Esports, which is a hopefully competitive series between Sweden's first and Finland's first as well. Now, talking a little bit about Dusty versus Neon, we watched Neon the other week, and they got 0-2'd, unfortunately, clean swept. And Dusty has had a little bit of an unfortunate start as well, going 0-2, as you saw in the standings also. Now, the Icelandic scene is rather unpredictable. The first season of the Icelandic Esports League saw Dusty place second, both in the round robin and the playoffs, and that's in a league that had a grand total of 4 teams competing. With that said, it can indeed be difficult to predict just how strong the Icelandic teams will be. Although the spring season of the Nordics saw the only Icelandic representative, Riptide, finish dead last with 0 match wins and only 2 game wins. And that's important to mention because Team Dusty contains 80% of the Riptide roster. They have had time to improve and adapt since the spring season, but they're starting off the summer showing by going 0-2 against Sweden, both the Final Tribe and Falcon, in rounds 1 and 2. But they should be a fun team to keep our eyes on. Their drafts can be a little bit wonky with stuff like top mid flex picks, Zillions and Zeds, and bot lane Yasuo. And with an unpredictable previous season and limited knowledge of the inside workings of the Icelandic scene, since the coverage isn't that great, teams are likely to find it difficult to prepare for Dusty, and they'll be facing Neon in this first game of the day. Trouble, what do you think about Neon?
I mean, I'm just going to finish saying that we can't be very critical of Dusty because they have lost, like you said, to Falcon and the Final Tribe, which are considered to be really strong teams right now in the tournament. Jumping over to Neon Esports, though, I feel like they're rocking a great lineup this season, even though they have lost, one of the games to Falcon as well. I think our eyes will primarily have to drop onto Yameru. For me, he's the primary carry of the entire team. He had two great on-stream performances with Corky and Diana. I feel like he's a very diverse player. He literally can put himself out there. He can hard carry. But although, if we take a look at the bot lane and the top lane, respectively, I feel like these two lanes are a little bit too passive to the point where you just don't see enough impact until the point where a team fight is needed and the team is not there. So for example, we saw Haru 2 times on that Karma and he just could not compete in the top lane on that champion. So I would love to see Haru on something different, something like maybe an Aatrox, give him like a Camille, give him something he can defend himself to and also initiate some fights, because it felt like he fell a little bit short with his Karma in the top lane, especially against, ADs, which Karma is really good at handling and keeping it at bay. So I think we're going to see more of that in the picks and bans phase. But yeah, all in all, I feel like Neon have a really good team right now, and they could potentially take this as a 2-0 seeing as Dusty has lost all their previous games and Neon has actually pulled out a win. So my eyes will be sticking straight on Yameru to carry this, and I would love to see a more proactive bot lane by Neon Esports. Saying that though, I think we have just moved on to picks and bans.
And will Neon move away from that Karma top pick? I guess we're about to find out. Hey, the thing is, right, with Dusty being so unpredictable and versatile, it's so difficult to know beforehand what you're gonna be up against. So actually, you know what? I think they might be quite comfortable locking in something like a Karma anyway. So I have a feeling that we're gonna see some similar tendencies of Neon, especially since they don't really know what they'll be up against. However, Dusty is blue side, so they got that first pick, and the bans are coming in as Irelia Aatrox is taken away, as well as that Kiana. Haven't seen a single Kiana game so far. Do you think we'll ever see her throughout this tournament, Trouble?
I have a feeling maybe in a best of 3 series on the first game, you clearly want to get away with banning every flex pick, any overpowered pick right now. And Kiana is a very, very strong pick in the mid lane, but in Korea, we've seen her being played in the jungle as well. I mean, who really wants to invade a level 6 Kiana when her ultimate can literally cover every single wall? So you can't fight her in the jungle, you can't fight her into tight places. So jungle is the perfect role for her. Now, like you said, we don't really know exactly what to expect from Dusty. This is why it's good that Neon Esports is on the red side, so they can possibly counter pick. So on the first usually game of a best of 3, you usually want to get rid of all the overpowered picks and all of the flex picks, so there's not that wandering factor of where's this Aatrox going? Is he going mid? Is he going top? Can they surprise us with an Aatrox jungle? You know, all that. Saying that though, Mordekaiser has been locked in from the side of Dusty and Haru. I said I wanted some proactivity, and he's going with full map fight potential with a gangplank and his ultimate.
Yeah, the ultimate is obviously world or map-wide coverage, but also inside of that lane, he should have a fairly easy time going up against Nipla's Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser's been one of these picks that seems to struggle early on, especially against ranged, but once you can establish a couple of items and you get that income rolling, then Mordekaiser does so much better. But Gangplank doesn't care because he'll be farming up his gold stacks and just scaling way harder than you will. So I love that pick. As
Let me
you
guess,
said.
Rakan?
Yeah, Rakan seems like the obvious one here. Obviously, Kaiser Nautilus locked in for the bottom lane of Dusty, Hoist, and Bad Habit will be running those. And there is that obvious
What a surprise!
Synergy. Now, how does Zaya Rakan match up against Kaiser Nautilus?
I mean, it's a very hard matchup in lane because as a Rakan, you can get stunned and rooted in place by the Nautilus. And that trade factor that Nautilus has is kind of the same one that he has in the top lane. Basically, Nautilus wants to take the trades versus champions that cannot sustain. Now, the Rakan, of course, does have the heal, but he's also very squishy in lane. So this time Nautilus is not going against a bruiser or a fighter that, yes, they can sustain, but they're also not very squishy. This time, yes, Rakan can sustain just a little bit with his Q, but once he gets locked down, the burst is unreal from early game Nautilus, and of course, adding who is on Kai'Sa in there as well. Now, I feel like, again, the bot lane from Neon is going for that super safe early game. I just really hope that this time it is going to be enough to give them a victory because, being very passive early game can give the enemy jungler the opportunity to get, all the priorities from his lanes and then move into your jungle, get vision, and basically snowball the game from then on. So I would love to see maybe a proactive mid laner and a jungle from Neon. Whilst on the other side, I feel that Dusty's team comp so far, looks very, very promising because you have the Nautilus, the engage is right there. Yes, you cannot target the Zarya because it's going to have the further storm later on, but so far everything else could work. So once the Rakan engages in and Nautilus pins him down, that means that Rakan will never be able to reach the backside.
And that is the name of the game. There's that productive jungler that you were looking for with Jarvan. Should be able to influence the lanes quite easily early on, especially the top side, I believe. And it synergizes obviously really nicely with that Rakan engage. The Rakan won't be alone in that. Now, Dusty still have a jungler and a mid laner to lock in. And Joachim is the new player of Dusty as of recent history, with the other four staying since the Riptide days, and he's going to go on what a lot of junglers find a comfort pick in that Lee Sin. And there's that Corgi, so a double 80 composition coming in from Dusty. Isn't that a little bit risky against something like a Jarvan Rakan, perhaps?
I don't think it's that risky because of the Rakan, but I feel like Corki doesn't really have any counters in lane at this point. He can pressure the wave, he can do a lot of damage, he can produce that AP damage as well. So yes, they do have the AD auto attack composition, which means they can take away objectives really quickly. You are the listening there, you've got instant early game potential ganks, and look at how the lanes have been set up. Every single lane, except mid lane for Adi, has some sort of CC to enable the listen to snowball the entire team. On the other hand, though, Yameru is going with the Azir. I love this pick, especially against Listen. He tries to jump in, you throw him straight back out where he belongs, back into his team. That is your engaged potential gone. And this is pretty much the only engage that you have apart from the Nautilus, because usually what will happen is the Listen will want to engage in insect style and then throw someone back. Now, that person that has been knocked into the enemy team gets rooted and stunned by the Nautilus. And this is where the fight starts as a 4v5, and then you can pursue forward. Now, having a little bit of a look at the lanes, I do have the feeling that bot lane will have pressure on the Xayah Rakan lane. You do have a lot of pressure though from Yameru's side, and this is the person that you want to carry. We said it again and again and again. If we have to have our eye on someone, and yes, oh my god, okay, wait. I got excited because I saw the corgi, and you know how I feel about corgis. But I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay on the Yameru topic. This is the person that you want to carry. So you get the proactive jungler, you get the global ultimate by Gangplank to help that, and you try to snowball that Azir or even the Gangplank in the top lane. So pushing the corgi behind and stopping him from snowballing that early, because once that Trinity Force is completed on the corgi, this is where the power spike happens. And they've got a pretty good one item team power spike from the side of Dusty. So you definitely want to stop this from happening. Now, of course, top lane, I don't really think this is a gankable lane because of the Mordekaiser. He can turn, the 2v1 into a 1v1 and then 1v1 whoever else is outside of his ultimate. So I feel this is going to be a very mid lane oriented game for the side of Neon Esports, and I have the feeling we're going to see a lot of action in general by Joachim in every single lane, because all of them have potential at the moment.
Speaking of that mid lane, which you said would be the focus, Adi and Yameru, this matchup of Corki versus Azir running that Ignite, Electrocute, by the way. You made some great points concerning the Azir versus Corki matchup last week. I believe it was in the Nordic versus Copenhagen Flames game. And you made some points about these 80 compositions. They shouldn't really be able to find these auto attacks onto Azir. So Yameru should be safe for the most part. Will Bad Habit and Joachim be able to change this with the Lee Sin pick and Nodal's pick, and taking in consideration that Emperor's Divide also? What do you think?
See, I have a feeling that once the Emperor's Divide is baited, I'm gonna give you a theory right now, which could potentially sound very dumb, but it could sound very proactive as well. So once you have the Kai'Sa and you have the package on the Corki and the Emperor's Divide has been baited, you can instantly have two ADCs jumping all the way to the backline with the Lee Sin and potentially the Nautilus, while Mordekaiser is keeping the Jarvan busy outside of the fight, or whoever else could be that one factor that can change the fight, such as Tiara on the Rakan or Rain on the Jarvan. So once you get the two factors that can turn the whole team fight around outside of the fight, you could definitely have both your carries jumping onto Yameru and one-shotting him, because late game, Kai'Sa and Corki can output so much insane amount of damage that I don't think Yameru can survive that with just an Ignite on him.
No, the Ignite pick there perhaps a little bit questionable. He's looking to punish this lane as hard as he can, and you're right. There is some incredible synergy there with the Corki and Kai'Sa, and how they're able to maneuver these fights. And we're gonna have to keep our eyes on Yameru in that mid side, because the crucial thing about playing this pick is obviously your positioning, and if you are mispositioned even one time, beautiful engage by the way down in the bot lane, Tiara getting that grand entrance. Yeah, you have to position so nicely, and I think that's the case for most of Neon's lineup here with Xayah, with that Gangplank as well. All right, so both junglers starting red buff. Actually, I believe Rain is going to pull off the triple buff against Joachim here, showing off the experience. And that, there it is. Went straight red buff to enemy blue and back to his own blue. Should be able to clear his own blue side and the Skullcrab to follow. So what does this mean for Joachim's early pressure?
Well, this is great, first of all, from Rain to be able to read this from Joachim. But what Joachim did great here is that he prioritized getting a level up. So now he can move back into his jungle and try to find Rain and actually fight him, because he's not only one level up. He has Smite, Rain doesn't. And look at that, we could potentially have a flank right here.
Yep, Tiara comes in, gets the ground entrance, but who's finding who really? It's a 3 versus 2 here. Flash forward by Azator, really committing the beautiful first blood snipe, but it's traded 1-for-1 by Hoys as Tiara falls. Also, Azator gets flashed on by Bad Habit, and there's that double kill coming in for Hoys early on. And Dusty's looking good in the bot lane.
I mean, transfer of red buff completed. Good game, well played. Quest successful. Joachim loses his red buff, but what he manages to do from that is get his bot lane ahead. That 2-0 Kai'Sa can now snowball and be a real actual threat versus Azatar and Tiara in the bot lane. Remember, this is a lane that is a very late game oriented scaling lane. So you need your Xayah to have at least 2-3 items preferably before you do anything onto the map. Kai'Sa is fine with just one, so it will be alright. So once you've got that completed, you can start pulling off fights. You see that, yes, Adi is a little bit behind on the CS in the mid lane, but once that Trinity Force is completed, Kai'Sa is already ahead. You've got 2 of your lanes that are super strong, and this is where you start forcing objectives. You force Shelly, you force dragons that are spawning, and then if you want to have the 5v5, you turn it into a 4v4, which you know you're stronger at with the addition of Nicholas Mordekaiser.
Yeah, perhaps the flash forward there by Azator to greed for that kill was a little bit of a mistake. Could have saved his own life and gotten perhaps a lane advantage. Perhaps it wouldn't have been that disastrous then. Tiara goes in for another engage in the bot side meanwhile. And you talked about forcing objectives, and the first dragon of the game will be that mountain dragon, and putting that one onto Dusty's double ADC composition with a split pushing Mordekaiser will surely be very important. When do you think they're going to actively start looking for this? Perhaps make a bot lane play to force some backs and then transition, or what do you think the play will be? Right, meanwhile, actually, what?
This is what we talked about. You have the Rakan, you get close to Bad Habits Nautilus, you're gonna get rooted and stunned, and goodbye Tiara. See you back in the fountain. This is where you establish more vision, you get deeper into the jungle, and you get your advantages. So that Kai'Sa is gonna snowball out of control if Neon Esports don't do anything. And right now, Rain is even behind. He cannot go down there because there's no items to support that. And Joachim can actually play towards bot side where the dragon is happening right now because he's actually doing the dragon.
Yeah, I asked about the setup, but there it is. That's all you need. And meanwhile, there's another bot lane engage coming in. It's a 3 versus 2 as Joachim is still on the dragon. There, the cannon barrage falls down upon everyone to a 4-man cohesive synergized play. Joachim is even pushed away from the dragon because of this, because obviously Neon might rotate. And well, there you go. Joachim thought he had enough pressure down bot, but Neon, the force in return, this big fight which dissuades everything. Beautiful.
That was actually great reactions by Neon Esports. They essentially bring 4 members down the bot lane with the Gangplank ultimate, and one knock-up from Rain was enough to get the Kai'Sa in trouble. They also cash in on the bounty. Oh, Joachim?
Oh, he's going for it. And meanwhile, Adi picks a fight with Yamero, or it's the other way around, I should say. Adi gets flushed away just to keep his health bar intact. But Habit's fishing for something, but surely this will end up only being the Mountain Dragon for Neon Esports, denied from the double ADC composition.
Oh boy, I don't know how it keeps on getting worse and worse for Dusty, because you've got everything you need right there in the likes of your Kai'Sa. Play around her. Adi tries to rotate to help with the dragon when he doesn't really have to, because Joachim was clearly just going for a steal there. So even if he loses his life and gets the Mountain Drake, it's still worth it for your team. So I don't understand why Adi was trying to rotate there. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication. Ends up coasting his flash though. So that would definitely be a return gank from Rain, which, mind you, after all these kills, he still has his flash available. Oh, Nippler?
Yeah, in the top side, Nippler banishes Aoi Haru to the Shadow Realm, but Haru gets out. I believe you can eat an orange to get out of it also. So that's another aspect of that Gangplank pick that we didn't really consider. I think that works, right, Trouble?
I think
Pretty
it does,
sure.
but I didn't really consider that he would be banishing the Gangplank in any fight anyway. Usually you want to pick a fight. Oh, Joachim!
Outside. Oh, flash forward. Joachim gets the kickback. There's the pull, and Haru should surely die at the hands of Joachim and Nippler. They have to tower dive though. Nippler's in there. No, he can't die there. It takes only 2 tower shots, gets out with his life, and a clean 1-0 for Dusty.
That's great stuff from Dusty right there. Joachim goes into the top lane, grabs the flash from Haru, and mind you, that is a flashless, teleportless top laner right now. He's gonna miss, look at that, that is double wave with a cannon stacked up underneath his tower. He's gonna miss so much CS, so much gold, and therefore so much experience versus Nippler that puts your top laner ahead if you're Dusty as well. Great stuff from Joachim right there. I really like that gank. And it will probably most likely be a repeat gank. Going back to the Mordekaiser though, usually when you're Mordekaiser, you want to make sure that whoever you banish, you can actually deal with them and 1v1 them. Because yes, the trick is, sure, if you're behind, you might want to banish, you know, the strongest member of the enemy team or the one with the most CC to get that lifted off your team's shoulders while they're fighting before. Now, in a potential 1v2 in the top lane, you know the orange is existent on the Gangplank, but also a top laner is always more farmed than a jungler. So you do usually want to get the Javan into the Saddle Realm, deal with him first, and then deal with whatever is outside this point. So even if that wasn't the case with the orange on the Gangplank, you usually want to target the 2 members with the most CC on the enemy team. So that would probably be either Rakan, Rain on the Javan.
You can deny an entire engage tool with that ultimate. It's kind of crazy, and that's why I love watching Mordekaiser in play, because you can be so creative with this pick. He doesn't necessarily, if you look at his kit, he doesn't necessarily look like the most outplaying kind of champion, the most flashy kind of guy, but utilizing that death realm in the right way can surely sway a fight, exactly as you said. However, I don't think that gank by Joachim is necessarily going to put Nippler ahead. He's down 20 CS, and it's against a Gangplank. Sure, he's not running Kleptomancy, instead has that grasp, but I mean the lead up top is oppressive already, and he's approaching that Trinity Force power spike also. So Nippler is going to have a rough time for quite some time.
And saying that Mordekaiser is not really a flashy champion, I'm pretty sure Kex made it very flashy last week,
true.
1v3, and actually, now he's in trouble in the mid lane. Oh, right.
Oh, they're looking
What's
for the
going
counter.
in?
Cataclysm, oh, he interrupts the dash. Yamaru tanks some tower shots, though. I don't think he dies. Survives with a slither of
Joachim's
HP.
around.
And beautiful Cataclysm there. Yeah, Joachim's there for the potential cleanup, but I don't think he can reach him. Actually, he might find Yamaru here if he commits, but nah. It's an Azir. He's got that dash with the Sun Soldiers. Gets back to safety, and it's a 1-0 for Neon.
And if you remember, yes, we did see Neon Esports lose last week, but Rain was always there again on his strongest lanes, trying to get them an advantage. And this time, again, it's in the mid lane, try to get Yamera ahead. So if you see a pattern forming here, the entire side of Neon Esports is ahead in CS, and that's exactly what you need. You've got a full late game scaling team make this happen before the bell onto a mid-game spike. Dusty rings. Oh, Tiara's coming in.
The bot side, Cannon Barrage comes in. Beautiful quickness, ground entrance by Tiara. However, Hoyt is gonna escape with his life, and it is Bad Habit that dies. A Bad Habit dying to the enemy bot lane.
And they've done it again. I feel like Dusty is really underestimating the distance that Rain can gap close with his Jarvan. Yeah. So he literally walked twice through the lane. Haru's ultimate is up and going. Oh, they've got Rain in the jungle.
Has to flash away. There's a fight going on the top side too. So Rain trying to steal away that red buff, but gets capitalized on by both of these ADCs, and he absolutely doesn't want to 1v2 just yet. Rift Herald spawned up topside. This should surely be at least a few plates, if not even the first turret. There's a race going on though. Bot side, they don't have a wave. How much can Haru do here? Yeah, Shelly's tanking, but oh, the pull-in misses Haru. But there's that Dragon Rage, and that's another kill going over for Dusty. But it's actually Neon that gets the first turret. They find the race and get it mid lane, I believe. No, wait, hang on. It's bot side meanwhile. Hoyes.
Wait.
Azator. Tiara's tanking turret. What is going on? What the? A very messy fight down bot. I should correct myself. It is Dusty who got that first turret top.
Dusty get the first turret in the top lane, and that's a great read from Joachim and Nipla, because if they try to do any shenanigans in the bot lane from Neon Esports, then Nipla can reply with a teleport as he did in the bot side. But there's also Shelly for Dusty in the top lane following Joachim around, and he manages to grab a lot of money, grabbing the first tower in the top lane and getting a lot of damage done on the tier 2 in the top lane as well. I feel like Joachim is a winner here, and there was a very dodgy dive between the bot lane of Neon Esports and Dusty in the bot lane, where Azator was kind of tanking the tower after the ultimate. I feel like it was a little bit messy, the dive they tried right there. And if there's a word of advice coming from a low elo caster, guys, do not dive a Nautilus. It never goes well.
I know, he's so tanky, got so much CC, and he can lock you down straight up. Unfortunately, he also did turn into a 3 versus 2, I believe, with a teleport from Nipla even coming in after the first turret. So yes, don't tower dive a Nautilus, especially not when he's got friends. And meanwhile, the blue buff handover comes in for Yamaru, and when all that happened also, there's a second dragon of the game, the Air Dragon, secured by Rain, I believe. And will seem to be regrouping mid lane, another point of contention. So how much impact is this Air Dragon really gonna have?
I mean, between changing lanes, oh my god,
lane, Nipla wants it. Azator gets bopped by Nipla's Mordecai, so banished to the Shadow Realm, and he doesn't get out alive. Nipla, actually in a goal lead up top now. He's looking great.
And that started all by Joachim. If there's a member that you want to get super ahead early, it would have to be either top or mid. Oh my god, Yamaru!
Engaged by Yamaru. Hoyes comes in, dodges out on the CC as well, picks up that kill onto Yamaru. Now, Rain and Tiara are 2 versus 2, and there's that cannon barrage. Joachim with the flashy moves here. But
impressive.
Has he got enough HP though? Here comes Adi, gets the auto tags down, but Haru is here also. shoots a gunshot straight to the face of Joachim, and Haru is bashing onto Adi. Tiara's here also. Do they want to tower dive? He's tanking the turret, and here comes Rain as well. They just can't. What is going on? Bad habit. Oh no, here's Dusty coming in doing Dusty things. Oh no, you hate to see it. He had it in front of him, but he couldn't connect the dredge line. Oh man, that's gotta sting.
I feel like both of the teams went ham into this fight, and they were both extremely unlucky because one couldn't finish the other. And I will stand on the first thing we saw that started this fight. It was Yameru using Emperor's Divide and Hoy's right after on top of him. So this is kind of, a guideline of things to come and happen when this Emperor's Divide is used. Hoist can get onto your backline, Adi can get onto your backline, Joachim can get into your backline. And while this is happening, Nipla can keep Tiara into the Death Realm so he cannot taunt and get out and stun anyone. And once Yameru is dead, Azita is also pretty squishy, and Haru is squishy as well, because literally one Trinity Force does not really make you a tank. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this lane swap right here, as Nipla wants a 1v1.
He's looking for it, and he baits Yameru in successfully. I think he has the damage, though. There's the Ignite coming in clutch, and it's Bad Habit who shuts down Yameru there. But Yameru seems to be, at least in this game, so easy to bait out his stuff, bait out the engage, bait out the Emperor's Divide, and then it's just for Dusty to capitalize accordingly. Meanwhile, in the bot side jungle, Tiara gets the engage onto Bad Habit. Joaquin gets out, but that's still a 1-for-0. 2-for-0 with Nipla going down earlier. 2-for-1, I should say. Yameru obviously died there also. And the dragon spawning. It's an ocean.
And that is again great stuff from Neon. They know how to capitalize on mistakes from Dusty and some other thing. Guys, have a look at the minimap and look at all the red vision happening in the bot quadrant jungle of Joachim right now. Everything has been worded. They know every single move of Lee Sin in the game. They're going to grab themselves another 3 Drake here. So they've got one of it. All they're missing right now is an Infernal Drake. And I'm going to go back to the fact that this Corki cannot play against the Azir anymore. Nipla also tried his luck against Yameru's Azir, and it's just not happening. No one can 1v1 him. But you know the trick? You don't have to 1v1 the Azir. He is so squishy. Bring your jungle, bring your support. Like, Bad Habit was way too late into this fight. Had he been there a little bit earlier, I feel like the fight would turn around. Haru though?
Yeah, Haru is just straight up dead. He finds himself overextended, gets capitalized by 3 people, and there's the Cataclysm down. But Nipla comes in, banishes Azator, I believe, but I don't think he wins against Azator. There it is. He gets shut down as well. So the cross map plays there, and you know what? The name of the game should be respect the body rule. Always hold the hand of a friend. Because if you don't, it just go work out like this.
Yeah, and the name of the game is, maybe you should try and play around your Kai'Sa a little bit and respect the fact that 4 members of your team are up in the top lane. So where could potentially Neon Esports be without any major objective on the map? It's bot. Oh, the big bot.
Yeah, it's a 3 versus 2. I don't know, they catch the backs. However, Haru picks up 1 with that cannon barrage, but so sloppy. It's as if neither team respects the other at all.
That was a fat bounty that went into the pocket of Boys right there. He's gonna be ecstatic with that. He almost has his 3rd item completed, and he's gonna hurt a lot. I feel like, yes, you're right. The fights we have been seeing are a little bit messy, but that's usually what we end up seeing on the first games of a best of 3. This is when the teams are like, okay, we're gonna go all out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, we're gonna have to get our heads back in together, and we're gonna have to figure out a different strategy, maybe respect our enemies a little bit more, and so on and so on. So far, I feel like what's been going wrong with Dusty is the fact that they have not been playing around Hoist too much, and they've been grouping on the wrong side of the map, taking down people that don't actually matter at that point. So instead of going top lane to punish Haru, which you don't really have to, because Adi was fine just wave clearing against Haru at this point. Just bring all your 4 remaining members on the bot side while Yameru has been caught.
Yameru gets caught indeed by that Baron Pit, quickly dies. We talked about this. It's all about the positioning. It's all about respecting the points of aggression of your enemies. And Yomeru, he falters on both points, dies for a third time of the game. You said no one can 1v1 him. They don't have to. Just keep on killing him off as a team.
Exactly, you caught him off guard where he shouldn't actually be, because Yomeru shouldn't really be the one checking if Baron is being done right now. I mean, you've got all these words in the enemy top quadrant of the jungle. Just wait until you see somebody pop up. Yes, they do have the double AD composition. Yes, the Kai'Sa is very fed, but they're not really gonna sneak a Baron underneath your nose like this. So you do have time for, you know, maybe Rain to get there, maybe Tiara get there. There you go. Bundle up as two so you don't get assassinated by this double AD composition. Because right now, look at the build that Joachim is rocking right now. He's got the Black Cleaver, he's got the Warrior, he's doing a lot of damage as well. Literally everyone from the side of Dusty is doing damage, so you need to respect that and never go to check Fog of War alone.
Joachim coming in clutch. I mean, we had some question marks about Dusty, obviously, with 4 members still around since the Riptide days where they didn't do that hot. Perhaps we're seeing some Dusty tendency here. And the reason why their history is what it is and why they're currently 0-2. They managed to get this lead onto the Hoyt's Kai'Sa, but don't quite use it. But with the addition of Joachim, he's been so proactive and he's been doing so much work. Meanwhile, hang on.
I think they know what's going on, because
they know for
has
sure.
been waiting around.
Yeah, Rain gets fed up, doesn't have the patience, and Joachim is obviously right around the corner. Also, so a 3-man death brush is foiled by Dusty.
Well, I feel like that was pretty much a miscommunication. Joachim
Top
fancies
lane.
Black right here.
Yeah, gets Emperor's Divided into a turret stump, and nice little shot there. Picks up the kill onto Yomeru. So Joachim, we were speaking about him just now. He's showing off and telling us exactly why he's going for this damage build.
I feel like he's been doing a great job from the start of the game. Knew which lanes to go to, where to apply the pressure, when to get the kills, when to give the kills. So for the first time he ganked, the first 2 kills went toward Nipla, and then you saw that Nipla was able to go against Azita, he was able to go against Yomeru. He could 1v1 them until he couldn't. So now they're swapping back around, puts Nipla versus Haru. And Joachim is doing a great job on capitalizing on that AD Lee Sim that he's actually playing right now. Dragon is gonna go the side of Dusty this time, and I feel like we talked about how once Emperor's Divide is used, there's so many tools for the remaining members of Dusty to jump over that wall and kill off Yomeru. And I have the feeling that Yomeru is the primary damage for Neon Esports right now, and I feel like this has been the case for every game we've seen from Neon as well.
He is for sure the primary damage source as of right now. He probably continue to be that, but they have to find ways to utilize it. Play around the fact that as a unit you have so many defensive tools. You got so much peel. You got the Cataclysm and Flag and Drag by Rain, Tiara with shields, knockups, and the quickness, and that Emperor's Divide. You have the tools right in front of you. You don't have to send your Azir warding for Baron, right? So the fact that he's the primary damage source won't matter until they start using it. And the teams are starting to focus around the Dragon area here, where Dusty's setting up some early vision. And both teams actually do this Baron quite quickly. So if the hang on 1 second, Knockup lands onto Bad Habit. The Bad Habit once again.
Of checking Fog.
Yeah, checking Fog of War alone, while the closest teammate of yours just is on the way away from you instead of towards you.
And it's exactly what you said before. Both teams do not really respect the damage and the lockdown each other has. So they sometimes walk into Fog of War thinking, I'm fine, I'm tanky, you know, I'm a Nautilus. Well, you're not really fine when there's 3 members knocking on you. So Bad Habit ends up going down. That will be a lesson hopefully learned for all the other members of Dusty and Neon Esports. Guys, do not check Fog of War alone. On the other hand, I just want to say that I love the proactive jungler pick from Reyna here. It has worked great. He has got himself a couple of kills, but he's going towards the tank route, which means he's primarily their front line. That being said, you jump onto any member from Dusty and they can all jump out, except Bad Habit. But you definitely, in a 5v5, sure, they just grab Bad Habit there because he was walking into that bush all alone, fine, you kill him off, you get rid of the CC. In a proper 5v5, Bad Habit definitely should not be your target, but Hoy should!
Yeah, he gets engaged upon and should die very quickly. There it is. The engage tools are there, and they pick up that crucial Kaiser kill that should allow them some Baron pressure. Watch Adi though, 3-man kick, but the Featherstorm, nice reaction there by Aztor. It's a messy fight, and Adi goes down. Joachim's just in the middle of the fray. There's the Emperor Divide, pushes Nipla across the wall. Tiara flashes over. Do you really want to do this? Baron is seemingly on the side of Neon Esports. Joachim has got no HP whatsoever. Yamaru, he's chasing, and Haru is in the bot side. While everything's going on, flashbacks from last week, as Haru is going to take down this inhibitor. Tiara is still looking to continue tower diving and diving towers, neutral objectives. It's all the same to Neon. They get the inhib, and the teleport comes in to secure that neutral Baron as well. Joachim is waiting around the wings though. Perhaps we'll be able to get this deal. They're quite slow to start it, as Zir damage is going to get up there. Yeah, he doesn't have any vision whatsoever. Does he have any wards available to him? I don't think he does. It has to be blind. He's going in, going for the steal, and he steals it! Joachim comes up huge. The newest addition to Dusty shows why he is going to influence this team to perhaps their first match win. What a steal!
Joachim, you absolute beast! He has been doing work all the way from minute 1 he walked into this rift. Rain tried his best trying to deny Joachim buffs, trying to deny him vision, XP, gold. It is not working. Joachim is showing up big time, and a huge lost fight for Dusty is being turned around by them getting this Baron buff and being able to stall that bot side inhibitor loss.
What a game, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most back and forth we've had so far, I believe. It's just straight up everywhere. The fact that he got that blind steal only has that cue to check for the amount of HP that the Baron was. Finds it, and now Dusty are looking great. We talked about this earlier with that double ADC composition. They will make quick work out of these towers, but Neon Esports obviously have a fair amount of wave clear with Gangplank barrels as well as their Sand Soldiers. But I do think that Dusty surely will be in the driver's seat. Please, no more bad habit, no more face checking, nothing, and setting yourself behind, because this could be Dusty looking to show us the strength of Iceland. They're on that Ocean Dragon now.
Okay, so that, I don't know if this has put them into the driver's seat because they're still 2,000, I'm sorry, gold behind. But what this could definitely do is stall them until they get more items from Kaiser, get that Corki a little bit stronger. You know, Joachim is not going to get stronger from now on, but that's still
mid lane,
all this gold he got, completed that Guardian Angel, and look at the push they're able to do. So they can use this Baron buff to actually push out the lanes and negate all this pressure that Neon Esports had on them ever since they got that bot lane tower. I mean, inhibitor, I'm sorry.
And that's some questionable back timings there coming in from Neon, fully opening up the mid side there. They had a pretty nice flank should they have wanted to go for it, but this just goes to show how much Dusty will be able to take. If you give them an inch, they will take your arm, absolutely. Or they'll take a mile, I should say. I mixed two sayings there. Another bot turret is under siege as well, but the wave clear is very real. And obviously, with that inhibitor being down in the bot side in favor of Neon, there is some assistance with super minions. So they have some tools to keep Dusty at bay for now.
You've got the wave clear. Yamaru is back enough now. I don't know if he's just doing it for the animation, but I feel like this tower will be going down really soon. Rain is threatening actually there with a big cataclysm, so they back off. And I don't feel like they should be pushing. Yeah, exactly. So Joachim is doing it yet again. Pressure on the mid tower so his team can actually capitalize on the bot tower. So this is how it is done. You get Baron buff, you pressure at least 2 lanes at once to the point where the enemy team cannot defend both of them and you end up grabbing one of the two. Now only 1,000 gold deficit between these two teams. It was 5,000 2 minutes ago, Lanceminot. 5,000, and it's down to 1k now.
The Baron power play is huge for Dusty, closing that gold lead to that sub 1,000 mark. But as the Baron starts to run out, surely, if history is to say anything about this game, then we might see these teams fall back into these tendencies, especially right since it becomes so much more difficult putting you into a position to siege these inner and inhibitor turrets. Obviously, no inner turrets are standing for Neon, so pushing against those inhib turrets requires you to set up these jungle entrances that Neon could use.
The power spike incoming. He's going to base, and yes, Infinity Edge completed for Adi. This is the time you want to fight. I do believe this is going to be a 2 Baron game, of course, so this is why teams are trying to establish vision around it. Look at all this vision Dusty already has in the top quadrant jungle of Rain, but Neon Esports are running it down mid. They want to play ARAM, nobody's defending, why not grab a free tower?
It's a 5 versus 3. With Ade down in the bot side, Joachim late with the recall. This could be a second inhibitor. It's a second inhibitor open now. The bottom one. Meru's damage though. Joachim finds the potential engage option here, but doesn't want to. Obviously, many tools available for him to interrupt him should he go for it, but a second inhibitor open now, and top lane is an easy target.
And now Dusty is kind of back to where they were at the first point when Baron was being taken. You have to face check Neon if you want to get in there, have a chance to contest or get some vision down for yourself. Thing is here, Neon Esports is already resetting and Dusty has actually got this in mind and they're getting some vision established. Now they're going to push their lanes. Bot lane, inhibitor tower has to spawn, so they're not going to have to worry about this for a while. And they have got Haru.
Yeah, Haru's caught out. There comes the package, and Adi with that Infinity Edge is huge. But look at the amount of damage that Haru is able to trade back. And there's that Shadow Realm, banishes Tiara, but he walks straight into 3 people. Oh no! He finds himself completely blindsided. Uses that Zhonya's and Nipla, flashes over the wall to get out, but oh my days.
Oh, it's a 4v4.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. It's 4v4 indeed.
It's a 5v3.
Have regrouped in the mid side. It's okay. Adi's back in the base. It's actually 5 versus 4. He comes to TP right behind the Baron pit. No, sure not. They are disengaging. The hook comes in, and Bad Habit to the wall, so he dashes in. Unfortunately, doesn't find anyone there. Yameru is laying down the electrocute DPS. Baron is currently at 11k. Massive engage. Joachim picks up the kill onto Yameru, and it continues with Rain. Cataclysm Joachim, but he flashes over the wall, is alive for now, but Hoyes snipes out Azitor, and Dusty are looking for that second Baron of the game, as you said. Haru's TPing top side. He's actually not going for mid. He's looking to clean this one up. Dusty's health bars are sub 50% HP on 3 members. These barrels are huge, but there's no steal attempt here, and this is not going to be a stolen away Baron. This time, Joachim secures the second one of the game, and hopefully they'll be able to crack the inhibitor turrets this time.
I mean, wait a second. There's no steals because I feel like at this point, Barons belong to Joachim.
Yeah, so for sure.
He didn't really steal the previous one. He just got what was meant to be his in the first place, you know, but it was unlucky that his team ended up dying, so that was it. 2,500 gold in the lead. They find themselves on the side of Dusty, and this is going to be a Mountain Drake that Joachim is going to secure. And oh my, is Joachim having the game of his life. And I don't really know what Neon Esports was thinking, trying to contest that close. You have the Azir. poke your soldiers from the other side of the pit and try to crash, and then you can get Rain potentially in for a steal. But no, they wanted the fight. You can't really fight 3v5. That's really not happening, especially when Tiara and Haru are dead. That's your main CC material right there. When Tiara is down, you cannot play the game, basically, if you are Neon Esports. So this happened. Bad habit, though.
Ooh, nicely buffered there by Bad Habit. The Cannon Barrage is there. Beautiful engage by Tiara as a Cataclysm onto 4 people. Haru is getting the barrels. Yameru's laying down the DPS on the left side. Nippler comes in, finds himself in the middle of several people again, dies very quickly. That's a double kill for Yameru. He's so strong, finally goes down to Adi, but it's after taking down a grand total of 4 people in favor of Neon, and it's such a swing once again, and this time Neon find themselves in the goal lead with 2 open inhibitors.
That was an absolutely amazing engage by Tiara. Catches Hoys, and they get him out of the fight instantly. Now, what they want to do is delay Adi from TPing back into base. Rain is still there. He could potentially stop that teleport back. He's not going to, though. He was too late.
Yeah, he's got the Baron buff recall, remember? He had that one available with Baron still alive onto Adi. Should mean that the defense is there. Now, oh, actually, flashes forward, gets the GA. Can he finish Hazator off here? Surely, the crits are there. It's so real. This Corki with Rapid Fire Cannon, with that Infinity Edge and the 24th procs, Hazator never stood a chance.
Okay, that was actually huge from Adi, being able to get that Guardian Angel. No Guardian Angels left in the game right now. Joachim's is down, same as Hoys, and right now, same as Azata as well. He follows the whole, trend. He didn't want to have it if the others don't have it as well. So he's like, fine, here I am, you can have it. Great stuff right there from Adi nevertheless. He grabs himself yet another kill, goes to item, and right now, remember, they still have the Baron buff.
They still have the Baron buff onto 1. If Adi dies her, it's all over for them. A Bad Habit finds a hook onto Haru, and
Yameru!
Knocked into the enemy team. Yameru finds the kill onto Adi, and that's the Baron buff gone. Watch the position of Joachim. He should be able to dash over to his support, but Rain, once the engage, finds the Cataclysm onto 2. Nippler with the pull-in still has Death Realm available, by the way. Massive Redemption comes in, and Nippler forced to Zhonya's again. I believe he found the Death Realm onto Yameru there, but that's not a guy you want to fight a 1v1 with. And another massively won fight, this time on the defensive for Neon, and surely that bottleline inhib should go down soon.
Oh my god, that's such a disgusting build Yameru is running right now. Death Caps, Luden's Echo, Morellos. You don't stand a chance. If that dash of the Sand Soldiers finds you, you saw what it did to Joachim. It was literally 90% of his HP.
Oh, flash forward. Tiara tries to find the engage, doesn't manage. Oh, Yameru, the Emperor's Divide once again. No, he just throws the game straight into the hands of Neon.
Wait!
Into the hands of Dusty again, and Adi is alive. Remember what he did last time he had to 1v5 defend. He can do it again. And there is the Lee engage. It's can't find it. Gets outranged a little bit. Tiara with the quickness. A Bad Habit is right there. Finds the Death Charge onto Azator, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything with this one. Joachim finds the Dragon's Rage. Flash forward by Habit. Dodges out on the Tiara. Engage. But man, Haru's coming in again, and this is a 4 versus 3 push. They should at least be able to take the bot lane here, but can they end the game? They're looking for it. Knockup lands onto Nippler, and he flashes away. They're still alive. Brain now right in front of Bad Habit, who goes down in his own base. But the respawn timer is there. Hoyt is alive in just 1 second now. There he is. And the base defense option is here. Neon, they're doing their best to end, but they can't find it. The bot lane inhib is still alive, by the way, so they're prioritizing it is very clear. However, Nippler dies. A beautiful Dragon's Rage again by Joachim, and Hoyt finds himself in the backline. 1v2 in between, with 4 members in between him and Joachim. And there it is, after a 40-minute back and forth. Neon Esports strike first.
Wow, and I believe we had something like 54 kills in 40 minutes.
That's
That was insane.
ridiculous.
I felt like at the end, Neon Esports tried way too much to force themselves on Dusty, even though there was 10 seconds for Baron to spawn, another 10 seconds for, Elder Dragon to spawn. Yamaru was already dead, so just get the objectives. That bot inhibitor was crying out to be
Yeah.
taken down. Like, take the 2 inhibitors, mid and bot, transition into the objectives and have an even smoother game. But no, they enjoy the brawls, they enjoy the 1v1s and the fights, and that's what they got. So they won. This is, guys, Neon Esports style to win. They did it. They're 1-0 up, and oh my god, what a first game.
What a first game. This game was all about these back and forths early on. It felt as though neither team wanted to truly have an advantage for too long, saying, there's too much pressure, guys. Hand the ball over to the enemy team for a while with these blind face checks over and over and over, which led to this 54 kill game with 6 dragons. This was something insane. With the Baron steals by Joachim Trouble, honestly, this game had everything, apart from perhaps calculated and properly executed macro. Perhaps that was the one thing that was lacking. And respect. There was a lot of respect missing in this match. But yeah, the fact that Dusty got hoisted this massive advantage down in the bot side and didn't, it barely used it, it's mind-blowing to me, Trouble.
I think in the end it was pretty much the late game comp in Neon Esports that talked the talk for them. So you've got all these late game super fed champions. I mean, come on, that is a 4-item Azir you have on your team, 4-item Zaya. Obviously, with all that CC on your Rakan, you are going to be able to kill someone. So at the start of the fight, either Hoyes or Adi was going to die instantly before the whole fight started. So they really did not have a reply for anything because you're instantly 4v5. And it's not just a typical 4v5 where it's, just bad habit dies or Nipla dies. It's one of your 2 main carries. So you can't really do anything from that. And there was a lot of disrespect where I do believe that Dusty could have finished the game earlier because they did have the spike in the mid game and Joachim was doing amazing on the Lee Sin. But once that timer shows 30 plus minutes, I think it was Neon Esports' game to lose.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dusty lose out to Neon Esports. Finland strikes first in the match versus their Icelandic second seed counterpart, and we will bring you the continuation of this absolute bloodbath of a matchup in just a few minutes as we head into commercials. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss how this one will end. See you in a bit.